Hey everybody, it's 5 o'clock and it's Thursday. That means it is buddy chat. How about that? You want to chat? I'm ready to chat. I think I've got my sound on. My picture's good. I just don't know how. I tell you what's crazy about this. I have people write to me all the time and they'll say, well, we didn't know you were on. It doesn't let us know because Facebook does that. Remember, Facebook is a little tricky to deal with. And I'm doing my best, and sometimes it doesn't. And I know this for a fact because even on my phone as I try to pull it up, it doesn't come up. And some people will say, I didn't get notification until nighttime that you were even on in the day. So you have to know that at 5 o'clock on Thursday, you got to come in. And on the 20th, the 30th, and the 10th, well, I said that wrong, 10, 20, and 30th, that would be better. That at 10 o'clock in the morning, come back. We're going to do Project on the 10s. And then every morning at 8 o'clock Mountain Time, I post a little tip. So if you get those notifications, I hope that you are coming back. You just got to know you got to come and see me. You got to come for sure. Okay, I'm going to wait for just a second for my thing to boot up. It's not. It's not. Is anybody? Oh, I see that you are here. I have Sybil from Oklahoma. I have to look over here because it's not here yet. And Rhonda from Arkansas. Hi, Pat. I know. I remembered to push the right buttons today. Crazy. I know it. I can't even remember the last time we talked. I know that we had our class. Oh, yeah, we had our class. Let me pull it up. We had this class on Tuesday. I loved it. I can't love this pillow enough. I love all the bright colors. Just love it. Love it, love it. We had some fun people in our class, and I believe that we've even had a few pictures posted. So thank you. If you still want to take this class, you still can. You just have to go into sewitwithbarb.com and check out the home pillow. It's right there. Such a fun and easy and colorful class. Where shall I throw that? Just anywhere. Hey, Mindy. Oh, 112? Ooh, she says she misses her mountain. She's not home today. She is in Sun City. I would bet that it's really hot there. We were supposed to have a storm go through. It did not. I would like a good storm. I love a good storm. I do. So, but we have not had one go through, so I'm still waiting for it. But of course, probably October will hit, and I'm thinking, oh, when is this going to stop, right? Maybe about January, when the snow is clear up to our windows, we'll say, when is this going to stop? Okay, apparently my device is not even going to pull it up. So I feel your pain. All right, when I have complained to them about it, and they said, the more people that make a comment, that like your post and make a comment, then more people will find out about it. And so if you're coming in later and say, well, I didn't get notified, well, then comment on it. Because if you make comments, then more people are going to do it. And the more people that join our group, the better priority we get on Facebook. So help me out. If you've got friends that you think would be interested, tell them to join. And even if all you do is invite them, that doesn't bring them in. It just invites them. They have to accept the invitation. So if you have a friend you think, well, why aren't they here? I invited them. Well, because they didn't accept it yet. So just say, go in and accept that invitation, or come on in and join, because the more the merrier, I think. And because I can't get it up over here, I'm going to have to look over there. And I don't read so well over there because it's really teeny. We have, I'm going to bring it a little closer if I can. Kim is here. Yeah, it does match my shirt, doesn't it? She said this pillow matches my shirt. When I put this shirt on a little while ago, I thought, hey, I could sew this. Because it is. It's nice and bright and cheery. I really like that. I mean, life is too short for drab colors, don't you think? There is a time for nice, do they call them dark and dirty? Love dark and dirty because they just make you feel so warm and comfortable. But this is going to make you light up, and I like to light up too. And Kimberly Cummings from Oregon is here. And Shell, she is from Truckee, California. Truckee. I didn't know if I had said that wrong because I can't really see it. It's clear over there, but that's okay. All right, so the more the merrier. Invite your friends, comment and like the posts, and you could even share some pictures of your home pillow after you get it finished. Or even, I like the progress report that someone gave us this week. I thought that was really cool. Shows me that you're working on it, right? All right, I do have some fun facts for you today. Let me go out of there. Hang on just a sec. This crazy old world that we live in. And yes, we're being overrun with box elder bugs. And a few minutes ago, I was setting up the cameras and one walked right across the camera. I thought, oh, I don't like that. I don't like bugs so much. Not a bit I don't like bugs. Maybe some of you are bug people. I am not. Don't give me a bug. All right, so here's my fun fact, because I thought this was pretty good. Water bottles' expiration dates are for the bottles, not the water. So have you noticed if you keep a bottle of water for very long, it kind of sucks in, and you think, well, where's all the water going, right? Well, the bottle is expiring, but the water is not. It may not taste very good because the plastic that it's held with kind of seeps into the water and makes it nasty. So, but the water is still good. I don't know how many of you had experiences with that, because I thought, oh, water keeps forever. But those plastic water bottles do not. And they are kind of nasty, especially if you keep them in a hot car. Don't do that. They say that it will put off fumes into your water that is not good. Okay, enough of that one. All right, the average person will spend 5 months of their life. Now tell me if you believe this one. Will spend 5 months of their life, because I have, waiting for a red light to turn green. How about that? 5 months of your life waiting for red lights to turn green. Oh, I think I've got a bug. Hate them, hate them, hate them. All right, at least box elder bugs don't bite you. They're just numerous. And I can feel one. Makes me cringe. Okay, here's my last one. Excuse me for a minute while I exterminate. Okay, here's my last one. The word mortgage comes from a French term that means death pledge, or a contract that expires only upon death. So I'll bet most of you have your mortgages already paid off. I don't. I still have some I owe. But that's okay. That's okay. But a death pledge, how about that? A death pledge. Would you like a death? We all have a death pledge, right? Hey, thanks for all the happy faces. And thank you to all of you for making comments, because that's what keeps this ball rolling, and I need it. So thank you so much. Oh, it was a bug. It was a bug. All right, today I want to talk about, last week we talked about all the different ways you could get a ruffle with a sewing machine, right? Today I want to talk about sergers and what you can do with a serger. I love sergers. They were my first love when I started working in the sewing machine business. I was so intrigued by them. And I've got some new projects coming out in the fall just on sergers, and I think you're going to like them. They are fun. They are fun. I mean, I'll leave it right there. It's really going to be fun. And if you have a serger, and if you've wondered, why do I need a serger? I didn't bring that stuff in here today. Oh, well. We're going to talk about all the things that you can do with a ruffle on the serger. But it's amazing. Okay, let me take you down here first. Right here, this is my ruffling foot. It has a little flange down here, and I'm working on the Triumph serger today. Some of these feet may be available for your particular serger. You just never know. So definitely check it out. This is a ruffling foot. It's going to ruffle in 2 different ways that I'll show you. This one is just the regular foot that comes on the machine. I can ruffle with this foot. So fun. And this one right here, excuse me, this one was not the one that comes on the machine. Look how much these look alike. There is a difference, but they look a lot alike. If you'll turn it over, this one has a little spring-loaded bottom part. This one is spring-loaded also, but you see that little groove right in there? That groove, that is going to allow my fabric to ruffle. Whereas this one is flat, I can still ruffle with this. But this one is called the shearing foot. Here you go, the shearing foot. Now, if you bought that 30-foot kit that you could get with your Triumph or your Serger or whichever one you've got, this did not come in it. This is kind of a new foot. It's called the shearing foot, and the number on it is BLE8-SF. The SF is for shearing foot. Let me pull that in there. I don't want it to be blurry, but I don't want it to make you dizzy either. Come on, focus. There we go. That is the shearing foot. I really like this foot. I can ruffle nicely with every one of these feet, and it really makes a big difference what you're trying to ruffle. All right, so I'm going to go over to the machine and we'll talk about a few things going on here. I'm going to put just my regular foot on. I have to double check the bottom because you remember they look very similar on top. The only difference is what the bottom does. There's my spring, but this one has a little groove in it. That is my shearing. I hope I say that right. Shearing foot, shearing foot. It's just a foot. Okay, I'm going to go put my regular foot on. Let's go over there now. All right, and I'm using some very dark blue thread. I thought I'm just going to leave that on there. I've got it in a 3-thread overlock. You can actually ruffle, excuse me, just a sec here, kind of bumped you. You can ruffle with any stitch on the machine, whichever one you want to do with your application. It's still moving on me and I don't know why. Earthquake, earthquake. Hey, Darlene from Wyoming, and Nancy from Pennsylvania. Okay, so I have my regular foot on, and I'm just going to put some, and I'm in a 3-thread overlock. Oh, my camera is still wiggling. Oh, that's going to drive me crazy. Stop. We're not having an earthquake, guaranteed. My camera is moving. Maybe the AC is bouncing it. Okay, that's going to drive me crazy. Let me try and focus up quickly with something. Okay, I'm going to try something else. Hang on just a sec here. I'm not trying to make y'all sick. I think that's better. Okay, I am in a 3-thread overlock. Let me show you what a 3-thread is and what it looks like. Okay, here is a regular 3-thread overlock, but I want you to see, and I have had people call me and ask me what the deal is on this. Actually, let me do another stitch. Let me come over here. I want you to definitely see what's happening here. All right, I am in a 3-thread overlock. I'm going to put the fabric behind it so that you can kind of see. And you see how my stitches are hanging off the edge? I don't know if you can see that very well. There you go. My stitches are hanging off the edge. If you were sewing this at home and think, well, now why is it doing that? I just switched my stitch from a 4-thread overlock to a 3-thread. That means I took my left needle out. But if ever you forget, I'm going to move you over here, to adjust this lever right here, I still have it in the A selection. That's my stitch selector. So when you get a stitch that's falling off the edges and you think, why is that happening? Because I know I have everything set up right, I'm threaded right, everything's good, but it's ugly and it's hanging off the edge. double check your stitch selector, because I just went from a 4-thread overlock thinking, well, there I go, but I just didn't check this. But I wanted you to see what happens when you don't check that. All I have to do is put it down in B. That means I'm using my right needle. If I were using my left needle, I would have it up in A. Okay, let's go back to the stitch. And I'll show you now that I've got it down in B, what it's going to look like. And if you could compare them right here, do you see how that one is beautiful? It stays right on the edge of the fabric. When someone tells me, why are my stitches hanging off the edge? Most often than not, you see how those stitches are hanging off the edge? More often than not, it's just because you have it in the wrong stitch selector. And they'll say, but I've threaded over and over and over again and it's still ugly. Well, that's why. You just don't have the right stitch selector chosen. So usually what they have to do, and I'll tell them this every time, just go back from the beginning and reset all of your machine. Once you reset it, you'll probably catch your little faux pas over here with the stitch selector. And that's all it is. But the thing I love about the 3-thread overlock is that I can go from a 3-thread overlock to a rolled hem just that quick and easy. And I will do it. I'm in the 3-thread overlock. I'm going to bounce it down to C or D. Now let me show you what I've got. And I'm going to also change the length of my stitch to a rolled hem. Okay, there you go. There's my rolled hem. From a 3-thread overlock to a rolled hem. And that's not even what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about ruffles. So I'm going to go back up to B. And in a 3-thread overlock, my stitch selector in B and my differential feed up to 2. And here I have some muslin and I have my regular foot on. There you go. That's a pretty good ruffle, right? Okay, let's keep that same fabric. I'm going to put my shirring foot on. Let's see what a difference we can get here. I got the same stitch selected. Now there's the difference between my regular foot down here and my shirring foot. I do get a little bit more of a ruffle on this one, and your fabrics are going to make a big difference too. Just know that if you think, well, I don't have the right foot, you have it. It came with your machine. You can gather with the regular foot. You don't have to have anything special, but this one does make it kind of nice. I want to go to this fabric right here. Now you saw how nicely I gathered. This is muslin. Granted, muslin's a little thinner, right? This fabric, I kind of felt it when I bought it. I knew it was going to be a little stiffer. Doesn't gather really tight. It's got some sizing in it. If you have a fabric you really want to gather and it feels a little stiff, maybe even a batik or something, wash it first. Wash all that sizing out and it will gather a lot better. All right, let's see what happens when we gather with the ruffling foot. Now this one is different. It's got a little flange right there. I'm not going to worry about using that flange in this process right now. I am simply going to put the foot on and just gather. All right, let me take this same fabric we have here that we gathered with the shirring foot, and we're going to put it under there. Let's come over to this camera. All right, so now I have, this one was gathered with the ruffling foot. This side was gathered with the shirring foot. Now, I didn't even talk to you about how you get a gather. Yes, you have to have your differential feed up to 2, and you have to have the length of your stitch to 4. Do you remember last week when I talked about doing it with the sewing machine, how you have to have your tension all the way up, and then you have to have your length, the highest number, both highest numbers, the same thing on the serger. So you can see I've got a pretty good gather with either one. So if you have a ruffling foot, go ahead and use it. If you've got the regular foot, like this right here, go ahead and use it. Don't be afraid to. You can see that the regular foot didn't quite gather as much as the shearing foot, but you're still going to get a pretty good gather. Okay, let's try some different fabrics. I'm going to put my shearing foot back on, and I'm going to try some different fabrics. All right, I am going to go with a really, I mean, you can even see through that. See how tiny that is? The threads, they're silky, they're beautiful. When I gather, I am going to probably go a little bit slower. And you don't want to start and stop quickly. If you need to start and stop, that's okay, but don't do it quickly. If you do, those loopers may have a hard time connecting. All right, looky, there is some really fine fabric. If I had matching thread, of course, that'd be much prettier, but I don't. All right, let's go to a knit. Does it gather on a knit? I don't know, let's find out. There's my not so stretchy. This is very stretchy. Let's go on this one. That is a pretty darn good gather. I like that. And I'm going to go on the opposite direction. Let's see how it does there. It gathers a little bit better on the stretchy side than it does the non-stretchy, but I just gathered a knit. Okay, now that I have got my shearing foot, I'm going to take it off. Now I'm going to put this foot on. This is the ruffling foot that we talked about earlier, and I want to gather a piece of fabric underneath, and I want to connect it to another fabric on top, all in one stitch. Now remember, I could use a 4-thread overlock, a 3-thread overlock. I could use a cover stitch. I could use a chain stitch. They're all going to gather really beautifully no matter what you do. But this time, I'm going to have this one go on top of that flange, like that. And then the one I want to gather is going to go underneath. And that flange right there will make it so this fabric will never connect with the feed dogs. I want to let me take this up a little bit. I'm going to show you what we've got under there. I'm going to get a few things out of the way so maybe it's easier to see. But right here, you've got a set of feed dogs there, and you've got a set in the back. There are 2 different sets of feed dogs, and the back ones always are on the same rhythm. They never change. No matter what you do, it's not going to change. But the front feed dogs are controlled by the differential feed, and that's got static in it, darn it, by the differential feed. So when I move that up or down, it's either going to take, when I've got it up, it's going to take a bigger bite faster. When I have it down on the lower numbers, it's going to take a slower bite, and it's going to go slower, or a smaller bite, it's going to go slower. So that's how come you're going to get a gather in there. Now, the reason why they even have this differential feed is because when they first started creating with the serger, it was usually on knits. And you know how knits are when you're going around a bias edge or anywhere on that knit. Sometimes you can get a lettuce edge that you're not wanting to have. So that's why you have this differential feed, and it kind of compensates for where that fabric is going. So if you're going to gather a little too much, then you got to put it down. If it's going to stretch it too much, then you want to put it up. Okay, this is the piece I want to gather. I'm going to put it underneath with the right side up. I'm going to put it right back to my needle. And then this piece is the one I'm going to sew it to. I'm going to put it right in between the flange. I'm going to put it right there back by my needle. Now this one is going to get a little out of control. So don't go really fast when you do this one. Do you remember last week I talked to you about how you have to kind of hold the fabrics just so? Same with this, because it wants to move. And I'm not going to go really fast. And it really depends on your fabric as to how much of a gather you're going to get. So that's something you're going to have to try out and look at it first. Let's come over here. I want you to see how pretty that is. Look at that. That is a beautiful gather that's already connected and attached to my fabric. And it's finished the stitch right there. It's all done. There's nothing more I have to do. And there it is. That gather is already in. So you could do pillows, you could do shams, you could do the bottom of a dish towel. That would be really pretty. Or a skirt. I have done 3-layered skirts that I have done with this, because it's one stitch, easy to do and fun to do. And it's all, I like the way that it's finished off the edge back there. But I've seen dust covers on beds, how they go all around the bottom and they've got this beautiful ruffle. They didn't spend hours gathering it, not on the sewing machine, not at all. And then look at our ruching. We've already got our ruching, and this would be considered a ruching also, just a bigger one. It's not going to be as ruched because it's so wide. But there you have it. You can gather with the ruffling foot, and the ruffling foot has the flange right here, so that you can have a flat piece go through on the top, and they're going to be right sides together, just how you'd want them to be. When you open them, they're going to be just perfect. And the bottom one goes under there and gets ruffled because this flange protects the top fabric. And you have the shearing foot. It has a little ridge right there that allows the fabric to kind of bunch up, which is exactly what you want it to do. Or you have the regular foot. Yes, you can gather with the regular foot. Probably almost any foot that you put on this machine you could gather, because really the magic is in those feed dogs and the differential feed and the length of your stitch. Make sure you have it a length of 4. Now if you've got a fabric that's really gathering way too much, you can adjust it. You can take the length down, take the differential feed down a little bit. Either way it's going to work. So some people say, well, why do I need a serger? There are so many reasons to have a serger. Not only are you going to finish your edges, but you are going to make piping, which is easy to make piping on, and you've got perfect piping. So not just piping, but is perfect piping. You can make pin tucks with a serger. There are so many different things you can do with the serger. So it's not just finishing edges anymore. I do gathers with it all the time, and I really kind of like it. When you're sewing a quilt, faster, endless bobbin, you never run out of thread because those spools are huge, right? There's so many reasons to have a serger. I love them. And when I go out and teach, a lot of the times I am teaching on a serger because I love them. And they can do so many fun things. And so I've got a lot of projects that I do on sergers that I go out to stores and do. So if your store is having a serger club, isn't that a great idea? Or a serger event, I would love to come see you. Hey, thank you, Debbie. And Kim and Shelley is here. Hi, Karen. And Mary. Boy, a lot of you have joined me since I turned my head away. Got Debbie and Janice and Laura. I'm so glad you checked us out today. Okay, that is a deep breath of stuff. I just think that there is so much to do on these machines that I can't wait each week to show you something more that it will do. If you have a request that you want to do, let me know, and I'll see if I can work it in. I'll put it on the list because we have a long list of things that it can do. And I would love to see what fabrics you gather on your serger. So post a picture. Tell me what you've gathered on your serger because they do so much. All right, unless you have questions, does anybody have any questions on gathering on the serger? Hi, Camilla. There are so many different things you can gather. Like I said, we did knits. We did this sheer organza type fabric. You could gather anything. The only things that are really tough to gather with, no matter what you're gathering or what machine you're using, is like a batik where it's got that waxy film on it. But you can still gather it. If you want to wash it out, you can wash it out. If you want to choose another way to gather where we pull things, I mean, we can still go back to that way and still pull. I don't like to. I like to just to gather right there on my machine. We have done a knit. Who likes to gather knits? You'll find knits gathered all the time, and they're fun to gather. You can gather anything. So I want to see your gathering projects. Show me what you gather and tell me what you gathered it on. That's what I'd like to see. And I'll have to pull some of mine out. We'll see what we can gather together. All right, let's gather together. Today is the 25th. The next time we're going to be together is Tuesday, the 30th. We have Project on the Tens at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Project on the Tens, 10 o'clock Mountain Time on the 30th. That's next week. And then July's done. Can you believe that? July's done. It's August. And you know what August means? Kind of back to school, doesn't it? It's time for me to go buy my new box of crayons. Got to have a box of crayons every year. I don't know what I'm going to do with all those crayons. I'll have to think of something. Oh, well, if you don't have any more questions, I will let you go. And if you watch this later and you have questions, please put it in there because I will still answer your questions. If you have a request of something that you want me to demo, please let me know. I would love to demo it. And thank you for all the emails and questions that I've already received. I will answer every one of you. I promise. I'll be there for you. I buy paper. Kim says, I buy paper. What does that mean, Kim? I'm not really sure. I buy paper. Okay, Kim, you're going to have to explain that just a little bit. Just a little bit, not much. Oh, for school. Okay. Yeah. I love paper. I love sticky notes. I love sticky tabs. And I love the long, narrow sticky notes because then I can make a list on it. I love those. But Kim, if you buy paper, that's okay because I got crayons. We can get together. I buy a new box of crayons every year. And we've been trying to clean out, you know how you get all this stuff collected? So a couple of my boys came up this week to help clean out a room where they had things collected. Because I didn't move anything, I just kind of left it there because I love my kids to come home, and sometimes if they got all their stuff there, I think, oh, they're coming back. They're coming back. Well, a couple of them came on Monday, and they were going through all their things. And Rhett has been married for 20 years now, and Burke was looking through a box, and there was a piece of beef jerky. No, you couldn't eat it, but it was 20 years old. But it was so fun being in their room with them while they were going through all these memories and fun things that had been collecting in there for so many years. I loved it. Totally love it. I love it. Okay, but when I die, they're going to find my box of crayons. They're going to say, what was that lady thinking? All these crayons. Well, maybe they'll have a crayon party. Maybe they'll color. I don't know. That's what I want them to do. The day I die is sit down and color. All right. If you have questions later on, please let me know. I thank you for watching, and thank you so much for making comments, for liking the post so that we can come back and stay back. All right? Because Facebook wants to kick us out. All right. Hey, thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you guys later. Bye-bye. Tuesday, 10 o'clock. Don't forget.